Hey everyone, my name's Ian. I'm back again to talk about business capability modeling and how Ardoq with its pre-configured module can actually help you get a quick time to value. We've included everything you need to get started, including surveys, dashboards, calculated fields, even the reports necessary to really answer those key business questions. Now, of course, we didn't do this with the simple fact of building a new map. Obviously, you want to answer some key business questions that drive your company. So first and foremost, obviously, what is our capability model? That's pretty trivial. But after that, we want to understand it and be able to evaluate it. So we need to know things like maturity, differentiation in the market. Is it something you're competitive on? How is it being implemented? Is there any risks? Is there any opportunities for cost reduction? And most importantly, how can we aggregate really finite data from applications and people in order to understand the complexity and the overall cost of our key capabilities? So all these can be answered with our out-of-the-box scope and of course can be built upon with the full flexibility of the Ardoq platform. All right, so let's jump back in the tool and see how you can actually get started using Ardoq's pre-configured module. Scope is obviously important. So in order to answer those key questions, you need to be able to document things like people, your business capabilities, and understanding if they're strategic, core, or supporting. You also want to get your application portfolio built out over time and include things like departments. Now, again, you can build on this to include business units or processes or anything else you might deem relevant for getting started with BCM. But for us, for the quickest time to value, this is the scope we decided to start with. Now, you obviously want to get your capability model up into the app. And how you do that can be two ways. Either one, getting the data in through just using the Ardoq solution in our, for example, our Excel-like editor, which is called our grid editor, or importing the data you might already have. So we actually have a template for Excel and a out-of-the-box integration for Excel for any kind of template. And you can use this to map your capabilities from your Excel sheet directly into Ardoq and start building from there. So if you do have data in Excel, good on you. Now you have somewhere to start. If don't, Ardoq is actually providing you reference models per industry, which you can take out of the box and build upon. So we have quite a few different reference models, and we're building on this list continuously. But just looking here, you can see that we have about 10 different industries, including media, energy, health, and diving into those, you can see they're actually quite deep. So if I look at the media vertical here, we can see that there's some high-level capabilities described, and we can drill down and see all the sub-capabilities through 4 layers of definitions. And this is really the foundation for you to start documenting your capabilities, but obviously is not going to fit your entire business need. So building upon this is 100% possible, and of course connecting this to the things that are realizing them is really the next step. Once you get your core capability model built, that provides a little bit of information on what your company hopes to accomplish, but it doesn't really describe how or how well it's doing. So understanding things like, is this a differentiating capability in the market? Is this what makes us competitive? Or are we even very good at doing it? So these can be summarized in 2 fields, which we've chosen to include out of the box: maturity and market differentiation. Now those are just numerical values, and again you can use the Ardoq app to punch those values in, but what we think is really important is that you start collaborating with the business. So sending out a survey, for example, can be tailored to that business user's needs and capture information like maturity or market differentiation, and all that data is funneled right back into Ardoq to automatically update all your visualizations, your dashboards, and your reports. So everything is in sync at all times, and it's again all online on one SaaS platform. Now that we know what our maturity is of these capabilities, the next step likely is, to create a heat map. So with Ardoq, you can create heat maps on any kind of data you have. And for this case, we're looking at a heat map where we've basically done your typical traffic light type configuration, where low maturity is bright red. And here we can see quite a few capabilities in our core group that are actually quite low. Those are probably interesting for when doing risk analysis or opportunity analysis. But of course, the capability in itself is not telling a whole story. How are we actually realizing these capabilities where it really matters? So understanding how they're implemented is going to provide that next step in analysis. In order to do that, what we've done is we've actually connected our capabilities to our applications and departments that are realizing them. This builds on our APM bundle, so if you're already using that, then you have another level to build out on your current model. And if not, this is a good way to start building out your application portfolio. Here we see that the marketing promotions, for example, is a low maturity capability and is realized by 4 different applications. So if I was interested in maybe improving that maturity, I know where to start. I can start by looking at those applications from a technical perspective, but I also probably have a question about who should I involve. And that's really a unique thing in mapping capabilities in Ardoq, is that we include people in the graph out of the box. How you get those people in, again, Excel could be a great way, or integrating with other tools like Active Directory or your solutions that you have, long lists of employees, could be really good data sources. Looking at this visualization, we can already see very quickly that we have an expert within this capability. We can see that there's a bunch of sub-capabilities within marketing promotions, and we can see which of the applications are realizing them and which departments. That's good for awareness. Now we know what situation we're in, where we need to look, but it doesn't give us a lot of insight into why those applications maybe are contributing to a low maturity. So in order to answer that question, what I actually need to do is now take a perspective from an IT organization or an application portfolio manager's perspective, look at my application portfolio, but only those applications which are related to that capability. In Ardoq, you're able to dynamically drill down to the data that matters most to you, and then visualize it in any number of ways. A great way for doing analysis on your application portfolio would be a bubble chart. So here we've taken a bubble chart and combined it with the time matrix from Gartner. So now we have those 5 applications plotted on a graph with tolerate, invest, migrate, or eliminate, and then we've color-coded them according to maturity, as well as changed the size and their placement according to technical fit, business fit, and complexity. How you get that data in is a number of ways. Complexity is actually a calculation of the amount of integrations. The technical and business fit is often done through a survey to business owners and application owners to see whether or not those applications fit. The quick conclusion here is that the marketing platform is expensive, it's not fitting our business needs, and probably a good opportunity for us to save money and improve the maturity of that capability. When we're going to look at our capabilities in their own regard and understanding their complexity, we actually want to do this in a much more dynamic way than simply giving them a score. So the score on capabilities when it comes to complexity and cost is actually a calculation of the things that they're connected to. So again, this is the ability to harness the power of the graph technology we've chosen and roll up all that cost and complexity according to the relationships that those things have. So we're able to do that in a very smart way, but essentially then delegate cost and complexity accordingly. And what we see is that the sales capabilities, a group of capabilities, are both costly and quite complex. They're probably quite critical as well, just judging by the domain. And if we drill down, again, fully dynamic visualizations, all context sensitive, we're able to now drill down to that data and see the aggregated cost to the individual capabilities below that main group. And there you can see that the cost distribution is actually not very equal. It's all within the sales orders capability, so probably a good place for improvement. So that's the getting started. We can get data in from Excel. We can collaborate with our colleagues using surveys. We can, of course, use the Ardoq app in order to enrich your data, and that gets all your information that you need to start doing your initial analysis and answering those key questions. But of course, you don't want that isolated to simply your EA team using Ardoq. You want to be able to include the greater organization. So that's when you create something like a presentation, which is actually how I've been guiding you through this entire demonstration. Presentations in Ardoq are living. They're always up to date based on the most updated data in Ardoq, and they can be embedded in tools like SharePoint or Confluence, and they can be also permission guided. In doing so, you're able to make sure that your organization has the most up-to-date image of your business capability model and are able to answer the core questions that they have in regarding to how they might help you realize those capabilities. Again, that's just one part of the platform, but actually meeting your colleagues where they work is really key. So not only just distributing presentations, but also integrating all this data that you've been able to enrich in Ardoq with your tools like Power BI or Tableau is probably the next good step in managing your relationships with those C-level stakeholders. If you'd like to see more, please reach out for a demo. If you're already in the tool, you can find help and the knowledge base down in the left-hand corner. And again, thank you for taking a look at Ardoq, and we look forward to talking to you.